We ready, Mr. Blendy?
We're about to begin for Charm TV, Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Begin?
Close-up camera.
Shall I call to order, Mr. Chair?
Please.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City's Thursday, November 17th, 2022 docket. The first item on today's agenda, Bella Italia Baltimore LLC, trading as Bar Fusion. Premises are located at 1117 West 36th Street. This is an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1603C1 little double I, requiring $200,000 in capital investment in restaurant fixtures and facilities, 40% food sales, and a seating capacity for a minimum of 75 but not more than 150 individuals. Applicant is requesting live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premises catering.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Harry Previs on behalf of the applicants. We're actually asking for a postponement for this matter. Our licensee does not desire to go forward with this project, so we're going to have to amend the application.
Okay, so it's going to be withdrawn. You're not. So I was just going to point out to you that we don't have evidence of the capital investment yet, but if they're not going forward, then that's not an issue, I guess.
No, it's not.
Okay. All right. So you want to continue, or you want it withdrawn?
We want to amend the application if that's at all possible.
All right. Well, let's continue it so they can do that. Okay. All right. It will be granted.
How do you spell your last name?
Previs, P-R-E-V-A-S.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This matter has been continued.
Not today. It's going to be amended. It's not. They're not going forward on this application.
Then why weren't we notified prior to this?
I don't know. Go talk to him.
Shall we move forward, Mr. Chair?
Pardon?
Shall we move forward?
Yes.
Item number 2 on today's docket, Dove and Hawk Bistro LLC, trading as Dove and Hawk Bistro. Premises are located at 511 South Caroline Street. This is an application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license under the provisions of the Alcoholic Beverages Article 12-1604C2 little I, requiring $700,000 in capital investment in restaurant fixtures and facilities, 65% of food sales, and a seating capacity for a minimum of 150 people. Applicant is requesting live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premises catering.
Good morning. Thank you, Your
Morning.
Stephen W. Fogelman on behalf of the applicant.
Excuse me, sir. Your last name, please?
Oh, sorry. Stephen W. Fogelman, F-O-G-L-E-M-A-N, and I'm happy to give you a card. Sure.
Yes. Mr.
All right, sorry.
You going to proffer on this?
Yes, sir. Thank you. Good to see you all again. Masks are back. It's like my basement mold. It comes, it goes, it comes back again. All right. I'm here with Nanette Anderson Dean and Timothy Dean this morning with Dove and Hawk Bistro, LLC. This is the former space of the Handlebar Cafe at 511 South Caroline Street. It is 2 floors with approximately 7,000 square feet with a restaurant and office space. The statute here in question is the what do I call that? The rich man special, the $700,000 capital investment in 150 seats, which is a tall order by the legislature in this particular precinct. So much so that they had to go and get permission to use the second floor as well for event space to exceed 150 seats. You should have an appraisal from Jonathan Melnick, auctioneer, in your file. If not, I have copies for you.
We have.
Great, and that clearly shows that the project is in excess of the $700,000 required, to wit, $1.341 million. Now the most exciting part, Mr. and Mrs. Dean have extensive management experience in this industry. Mr. Dean's owned probably a dozen restaurants. He worked under Jean-Louis Paladin at the Watergate in Washington, who is kind of one of the greatest superstars of the DC culinary history. Miss Anderson, Dean, has extensive bar management experience in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Together, they want to bring French American cuisine, pretty high-end, farm-to-table, local sourcing. And if you'd like to hear more from them, I'd be happy to have them sworn. Just so you know, and anticipating a question, they will indeed, they are both alcohol management certified as it is because of the industry. And they will have their employees, who's servers, be certified as well.
Yeah, why don't we swear Mr. and Mrs. Dean in?
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Would you mind stating and spelling your name for the ease of our transcript?
Nanette Anderson Dean, Nanette, Anderson, Anderson, Dean, Dean.
And first name is Timothy, Timothy, Dean is the last name.
Okay. Good morning, folks.
Good
Would
morning.
one of you tell us a little more about your what you're planning to do?
You want me to?
You go first. You're the chef.
Oh, good morning. Last time we were here, this gentleman was sitting in your seat, which is kind of funny there. Getting a kick out of this morning, watching him represent us. What we're planning on doing is that we had a restaurant in D.C. that we sold, which was my burger concept, back in 2018. And then we took the proceeds from that and opened up a restaurant in Bowie, Maryland, right at the end of November 2019. And COVID came upon us right in March. So we had just started getting going. Our goal was to obtain a Michelin star for Prince George's County. That has changed to Baltimore City, 'cause I'm familiar with the city. Been in the city many, many years with Timothy Dean Bistro. And our goal here is, I got married during COVID to this beautiful young lady.
Congratulations.
I was not really interested in doing restaurants at the time, but then COVID, we sat back and just watched our industry get obliterated one by one, brick by brick, chef by chef. After we sat back and thought about it and the restrictions were lifted, we started getting out and eating at some of our favorite restaurants and noticed that some of them had started declining in food, but they were still charging the prices. Now they're charging even more due to inflation. So that's when I decided to dust off my old Brigard jacket and say, okay, we would get interested in doing something if we could purchase the real estate. And so we started looking around in Baltimore, D.C., Virginia, and just Virginia and D.C. was just way overpriced, inflated. I don't know what they're doing now, but we found this beautiful location not too far from the water, right in the Harbor East area, which we feel is very confident. And I watched that go from virtually nothing and watched Mr. Patarakis, who was a favorite customer of ours years ago, just develop that whole area, and it's just nice to see what it's developed into. In any event, we located the restaurant. I got with my wife and said, what do you think? Do you want to give it one more shot? Took some convincing, some arm twisting, and so on and so forth, but she said yes. Oh, you want to know about the food? Okay.
You're going to manage it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And will there be other employees, I assume?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
And those who handle alcohol will all be certified?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, tell us about the food.
Well, you're going to get hungry. I trained under, as Steve mentioned, under Jean-Louis Paladin, who was the youngest two-star Michelin chef ever in France. Got the opportunity to work with him at the Watergate for about 9 years. I went on to open up the Rio Hotel Casinos along with his food. Then we went to Puerto Rico. I worked in Atlanta with certified master chef Tom Catherall, who got us on the Olympic team, and we won. And then from there, Jean-Louis tapped me again to open up a New York restaurant, Paladin, which we got 2 stars in the New York Times. From there, I opened my own place at the St. Regis Hotel, 2 blocks from the White House, rather. Got 5 stars there on my own. Jean-Louis was an investor. He passed away about 9 months into that venture because of lung cancer. I did train in France as well with Alain Ducasse and Joël Robuchon on an 18-month stage at the age of, 20 I was when I went to France. And the cuisine that we want to do is that we look at all of these places in D.C., New York, especially D.C., that are getting Michelin stars, and we go and try them, and she's harder than I am on food, and we just can't see how they're getting these Michelin stars, and there's not one that I know of Michelin star restaurant in Baltimore. We have a lot of great restaurants that have come up, but no Michelin stars. So our goal here is to bring that star to Baltimore so we can be known as a food destination versus a tourist, go to the harbor, go to this type destination. I think there's a lot of great restaurants that have come up in Baltimore. Why Cindy doesn't have a star or some of Atlas probably don't have a star, I don't know. But I do know it could be politically motivated, which I plan on busting into and say, hey, why are we not being recognized? In any event, we're planning on doing American because we are Americans. We got great ingredients here. Jean-Louis showed that when he was at the Watergate. He also trained me how to use those ingredients. So our cuisine is going to be American with French influence. So you'll have the duck confit, you'll have the 21-day aged ribeye on, you have the diver scallops. We got plenty of fishmongers that I know from Maine all the way to California. So we plan on competing on that level of a Le Bernardin or a Per Se or a French Laundry here in Baltimore.
Great. Okay, thank you. Mr. Fogelman, do we have evidence of the seating? Is that in here?
Yes, it should be. And it's,
And
what
it
I say was,
exceeds the 150?
yeah, it was like 165.
Okay.
It's 2 floors.
All right. Commissioners have any questions?
No question.
No questions.
Do you have anything further?
No, thank you very much for your time.
Okay, and thank you, Mr. Dean, for filling us in.
My
So
pleasure.
on the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from council and testimony received this morning, I vote to approve this application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premises catering. Commissioners?
Based upon the application, the proffer, and the testimony, the evidence received, I too would approve this application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license with live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering.
That's based on the testimony and materials provided today. I also vote to approve the application for a new Class B beer, wine, and liquor restaurant license, and also the request for live entertainment, outdoor table service, and off-premise catering.
Ms. Russell?
Michael Exhibits for the record, Board Exhibit 1, Business Plan.
Thank you. Thank you, and good luck, folks.
Merci beaucoup, and we look forward to serving you in a Michelin-starred restaurant.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council will receive instructions from this agency on how to legally complete the steps needed to obtain the license that the board preliminarily approved today. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
Item number 3 on today's docket has been postponed and will be scheduled at a future meeting of the board, bringing us to item number 4 on today's docket. Rubens LLC, trading as Mr. Tepaches, 1900 Alisana Street. This is an application to transfer ownership of a Class D beer, wine, and liquor license.
Yes, good morning. Who's got this?
Good morning, Your Honor. Stephen W. Fogel on behalf of the applicant. Mr. Previs is also here in this matter.
Yes, I'm here on behalf of the seller, and we're objecting to this transfer going forward because there are no terms of the contract that's set in place. I think
I just need your name, please.
Harry Previs, P-R-E-V-A-S.
So what's the story? What's going on?
Thank you very much, Your Honor. And Mr. Previs was kind enough to tell me that he was going to come down and object. It was the death of Michael Marazzetti, one of my favorite licensees of all time. He had an owner, in addition to having owned One-Eyed Mike's for many years before he sold it, he had an interest with his former bartender and good friend, James Hubbard, who was a licensee at Lobo, and this is the transfer of that Lobo license. So there was no communication on both sides. The pandemic went through. Estates go slowly. So there was never any meeting of the minds as far as what we're going to buy, what the offer is to buy out the interest, Michael Marazzetti's interest in the business in. And we came in here in September. We had filed this application for transfer. And for whatever reason, the estate was not notified that an application had been filed for transfer. And so that had Mr. Previs, the senior, came down and objected to, or asked for postponement, objected to it going forward. That was in I want to say I have this giant thing on my file that says September 8th, 2022. I think that's when it was. It was over 2 weeks, 2 months and a week ago. In any event, we literally just got yesterday a number from the seller to the buyer. So as I mentioned to both Previses this morning, both the telephone and person, I think we're really close.
Can we just put it off till December 1?
Well, no, here's why I don't want to do that, because I actually wrote the board and said, is this case ready for hearing? And had Mr. Previous on that, and it's been set for hearing. So I assume that the board has actually answered this question. As I said in my email to the board about a month ago, or 3 weeks ago, it's clear that a transfer authorization, nothing's going to transfer until there's a buyout. This is just, as we all know, a preliminary approval by the board. We also know, as I mentioned in my email, that the Previouses are very familiar with the processes in circuit court and could easily go and get an order, an order enjoining the final transfer if they were so concerned. So that's why I sent this email to the board, and the fact that it was docketed, I thought, meant that issue had been resolved.
So you're asking for an approval of Mr. Romero contingent on him completing this arrangement with Mr. Previous' client?
Contingent on the current, the outgoing licensee and property owner finishing and consummating a buyout, absolutely.
Why do we have a purchase price in our book of $11,000?
That was for personalty. Yeah, that was not even for the liquor license, I think. That was for tables and chairs.
Okay, so if we do a contingent on that, do you have an objection?
It was my instruction to object if there's no deal done. So.
I understand. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No question.
Tell us a little bit about Mr. Romero.
Yes, thank you very much, Your Honor. Mr. Romero, this is his first liquor license venture, but he has been operating Ruben's Mexican Food at 1043 South Charles Street and done it very well since 2017. He's also run an events company. He did sign a 5-year lease with the landlord. As I say, this used to be Lobo. Lobo was owned by Jamie and Pam Hubbard. Mr. Hubbard is the current licensee. It was a fascinating, great little restaurant and bar. Mr. Romero has brought some fantastic Mexican food to the space with creative cocktails and really fresh ingredients, and he's got a pretty warm reception in
Is
Fells
he
Point.
tip certified?
He is tip certified, and he will also make sure that all of his servers will do so.
Okay. Okay. Other than the fact that you haven't been paid, you don't have any objection to Mr. Romero?
Oh, no.
Okay, all right. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. All right, on the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from counsel, and the discussion that we have had about the status of this case, I would vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of this Class D beer, wine, and liquor license contingent on the consummation of the transaction with Mr. Previous' client and anyone else who has an interest in the license.
Based upon the application, the proffer from counsel, I too would vote to approve this application to transfer ownership contingent on the said transaction being consummated.
Yes, based on testimony materials provided today, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership, D beer, wine, and liquor license on a contingent of the transaction.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
All right, thank you, counsel.
Thank you all.
Good luck, Mr. Romero.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council has received instructions from this agency on how to legally complete the transfer, which the board preliminarily approved today, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
Item number 5 on today's docket has been postponed and will be scheduled at a future hearing of the board, bringing us to item number 6 on today's docket. Baltimore Sports Bar, LLC, trading as the Penthouse Club. Premises are located at 615 Fallsway. This is an application to transfer ownership with continuation of live entertainment of both a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and a Class AE adult entertainment license.
Morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. I am Andrew B. Saller, S-A-L-L-E-R. This is my partner, Mr. Rowland.
Charles Patrick Rolling, R-O-L-L-I-N-G.
Okay. Gentlemen, would you raise your right hands, please?
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Thank
I
you.
do.
Okay. I don't know which one of you wants to begin, but would you tell us about this operation?
So, the Penthouse Club, my name's Andrew Saller. I I attended Towson University. While there, I began working at the Power Plant Live for Bar Management Group. I worked for them for a number of years. After that, while I was in law school, I worked for a contractor of the Cordish Company for a year. After that, I worked several years, probably close to 5, for Nobles and Federal Hill. While not involved in the operations of the Penthouse Club, I've represented them legally. My firm, we led the challenge of the mayor's order prohibiting adult entertainment in federal court, where we prevailed and settled with the city. I've met Mr. Rawling, and there is an endeavor to take over, buy out the current owners of the Penthouse Club. I am TIP certified. Mr. Rawling has taken the class as well. He hasn't gotten his certificate yet. We're going to ensure and mandate that all current employees of the current venture that serve are certified, and we are certainly going to continue that practice.
So, are you counsel for them, or are you going to be involved in the operation?
I'm involved. I will be involved too, Commissioner.
Okay. Okay, and this is going to be an adult entertainment club?
Yes, Commissioner.
Okay. And let's see. I think that we don't have any violations, I don't think, on the record for this place. So it's got a clean record as far as I know.
We're going to keep it that way, Your Honor.
Okay. And anything going to change from the way that it was operating?
Currently, no. Mr. Rawling, after he's spent some time, we may down the road come and make some renovations and things of that nature, but the plan is at this juncture to turnkey operations. Current ownership, Mr. Alley, who's here, he's eager to retire.
Okay.
That's an understatement, having gone through COVID, and you've heard the unpleasant nature of attempting to operate a business during those time periods.
All right, commissioners have questions?
Yeah, are you serving food?
Yes, we have a high-risk food license and a full menu.
You say high-risk food, does it mean it's dangerous to eat?
No. It's wonderful and delicious, just the highest level you can have for a food permit.
So you're the chairman mentioned that you have a good record. I assume you're keeping management in place. Sounds like,
Correct.
Because just obviously, Mr. Saller, you're not going to be hands-on on this, and Mr. Rawling, you're in Louisiana, so just want to make sure that there's a consistent presence.
Yes, I will be. I have 30 years' experience. I've opened up clubs from Tampa to New Orleans to Philadelphia. We're a very big company. I will be here full-time for quite some time for this operation.
Great, thank you. And Mr. Blendy, just for clarification of the record, this is 2 separate licenses we're transferring.
Yes, Commissioner, both the BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and the AE adult entertainment license.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. On the basis of the materials contained in the application and the testimony received this morning, I vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of the BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and the Class AE adult entertainment license with continued live entertainment. Commissioners?
Based upon the application and the testimony, I too would approve this transfer of ownership of this BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and the Class adult entertainment license, along with the continuation of live entertainment.
Yes, based on the testimony and materials provided today, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of the BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license and Class AE adult entertainment license with the continuation of live entertainment.
Thank you. Good luck.
Commissioner.
No exhibits for the record.
That concludes this matter before the board. Applicants have received instructions from this agency on how to legally complete the transfer of both the BD7 license and the adult entertainment license, which by law, that the board preliminarily approved today, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, please.
The next matter on today's docket, Slide Wash Incorporated, trading as Sliders. Premises are located at 504-06 Washington Boulevard. This is an application to transfer ownership of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Your Honor, please. Frank Shawless representing the applicant, Matthew Stewart.
Good morning.
Could you state your name again, please?
Frank, S-H-A-U-L-I-S,
Thank you.
Mr. Chalice, you want to tell us about this?
Yes, Mr. Stewart is presently a restaurant consultant and setting up restaurants. He was employed, he has his own company. He also works for Alliance Restaurant Group part-time, and he's going to be the full-time manager of Slide Wash, also known as Sliders. He is alcohol certified. He's also has his food service license. All of the employees in the establishment are or will be alcohol certified. So he has quite a bit of experience at operations of a restaurant, bar, tavern. And we're asking you to approve this application.
Yeah, again, I don't see any violations in the history, so it seems like a spot that's been trouble-free. The commissioners have questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. Ms. Shawls, on the basis of the materials contained in the application and your proffer this morning, I vote to approve the application and transfer ownership of this BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license. Commissioners?
Based upon the application and the proffer, I too would vote to approve this transfer of ownership of the BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Yes, based on the testimony materials provided today, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license.
Ms. Russell?
Thank you very
For
much.
the record, Mr. Chalice.
Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council's received instructions from this agency on how to legally complete the transfer that the board preliminarily approved today, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. Shall we move forward, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, let's do that.
The next matter on today's docket,
Soda Pop Shop.
SR 2021 Corporation, trading as Soda Pop Shop. Premises are located at 4420 Pennington Avenue. This is an application to transfer ownership of a Class A beer, wine, and liquor license.
Good morning, Commissioners. Mr. Chairman, JU representing the applicants, Ms. Joy Jones and Mr. Ravinder Singh.
Wait, would you spell your name for our reporter, please, Mr.?
J-A-Y, last name spelled Y-O-O. Thank you.
Mr. Yu, you want to tell us about this?
Yes, Mr. Ravinder Singh has an extensive experience running and operating grocery business, and this time around he's purchasing a grocery that has a liquor license. He has underwent the alcohol ordinance training. I do have a copy of the certificate. Ms. Jones will be the resident agent licensee who's been a Baltimore City resident for 30 years. Both of them have a clean record, no serious traffic violations or criminal convictions. Mr. Singh, like I said, has an extensive experience in running and operating business, so he should be okay with the alcohol license as well.
And will his employees all be certified?
Yes,
ones
he
who
will.
handle alcohol?
Yes, he will make sure that all his employees who handle the alcoholic beverage will also be certified. He has been training under the current licensee for about 2 months, and on top of the certification, I think he's okay now. He's qualified.
Yeah, this place had some problems back in 2005 and 6, so it's been a while.
That was predecessor to predecessor. So
Yes.
the settler, I don't think, had any infractions on himself. It was before him that those violations occurred.
Just keep in mind, you want to have a clean record. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Commissioners have any questions?
No questions.
No questions.
All right, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from council, I vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of this Class A beer, wine, and liquor license.
Based upon the application, the proffer for Mr. Yu, I too would vote to approve this application to transfer ownership of the A beer, wine, and liquor license.
Based on the testimony materials provided today, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of Class A beer, wine, and liquor license.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
Thank you. Your Honor, I forgot to mention that my client would like to use different trade name. Currently, it's being traded under the Soda Pop Shop. He would like to change it to C-Top Grocery and Liquors.
Does he have to file something with us, Mr. Blendy?
No, Your Honor, that is not a material matter. The trade name can be changed administratively. So.
Thank you.
I'm disappointed. I thought maybe the Fonz would be there if it was the Soda Pop Shop, but
Yeah.
I guess not. Okay. Thank you.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council has received instructions from this agency on how to legally complete the transfer with the board preliminarily approved today, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. The next matter, Mr. Chairman.
All right.
Item number 9 on today's docket, Sedano Family LLC, trading as trade name pending. Premises are located at 306 South High Street. This is an application to transfer ownership, requesting off-premises catering and delivery of alcoholic beverages for a Class B beer, wine, and liquor license.
Mr. Fogelman?
Thank you. Good morning, Your Honor. Commissioner Stephen W. Fogelman, on behalf of the applicant Benjamin Sudano Jr., who is standing to my right.
Good morning. You want to tell us about this?
I sure will. Mr. Sudano is one of those people you have the rare pleasure of meeting. He is a third-generation huckster. His grandfather started with a produce stand at 419 South Caroline Street in the 1960s, and the business has grown greatly, so much so that they're based in Hanover. Now, Mr. Sudano grew up in Little Italy, so Aldo's was special to him, and so he wanted to make sure that it stayed in good hands. And so when he heard that it was possibly available for sale, he jumped on it. Mr. Sudano, at this time, as you see from his financial statement, he's CEO of Sudano's Produce. He doesn't have any recent bar management experience, but he does know how to hire a good team. For now, Mr. Sudano wants to use this as an event space. So it will not necessarily be open nightly. It may be open on the weekends, for example. But ultimately, it will return, we believe, to its former glory as one of the hubs of Little Italy's dining scene. Mr. Sudano, although he is not currently alcohol management certified, he's about to undergo that training. He already has 2 managers, staff members, that have been alcohol management certified into anticipation of this transfer. There's 2 floors and not much. He's put some money into the building. He's cleaned it up. But at this point, there's no substantial changes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, you plan to open a restaurant?
Correct, yes.
Okay.
And just a side note, Mr. Sudano owns Nancy Pelosi's childhood home, in addition to some other real estate in Little Italy. He's a neat guy.
I'm quite familiar with the area.
Yes, you are.
I had the pleasure of having a conversation with Ms. Pelosi about a year ago or more when her brother passed away. It was delightful. She's quite a woman. Anyway, commissioners have questions?
No question.
No questions.
Okay, thank you. On the basis of the materials contained in the application and the proffer from council, I vote to approve this application to transfer ownership of this Class B beer, wine, and liquor license with off-premises catering and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Based upon the application and the proffer, I too would approve this application to transfer ownership of this Class B beer, wine, and liquor license with off-premise catering and the delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Yes, based on testimony and materials provided today, I also vote to approve the application to transfer ownership of the Class B beer, wine, and liquor license, and also requesting off-premise catering and delivery of alcoholic beverages.
Ms. Russell?
No exhibits for the record.
All right, thank you. Good luck, Mr.
Thank
Sedano.
you. Happy
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanksgiving.
Thank you, ladies.
Happy Thanksgiving to all you.
You
See you
too.
in December.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council's received instructions on how to legally complete the transfer of ownership that the board preliminarily approved today, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. The next matter, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Item number 10 on today's docket, Prima Dopo Baltimore LLC, trading as Prima Dopo. Premises are located at 1724 Thames Street. This is an amended application to transfer ownership and location of a Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license from a secured creditor presently located at 807 South Broadway to 1724 Thames Street, requesting live entertainment, outdoor table service, and delivery of alcoholic beverages, and to include a portion of 808 South Ann Street.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Caroline Hecker, Rosenberg, Martin Greenberg. On behalf of the applicant, I'm joined by Brent Sale, our individual licensee applicant.
Can you spell your name for my report?
Yes, I can. It's H-E-C-K-E-R.
Okay, Ms. Hecker, you want to tell us about this?
Yes, thank you. I've handed out a series of exhibits which are kind of lengthy, and I'll go through this a little bit more briefly than what's set forth in the paperwork. This will sound familiar to the board. We were here earlier this year on a transfer of ownership and location from the original location of the license on Broadway over to this location on Thames Street. As you may recall, the property at 1724 Thames Street was previously owned by the Preservation Society, and during its ownership by the Preservation Society, it was combined with a property located on Ann Street at 808 South Ann Street, which is located perpendicular to 1724 Thames Street. There's a map in the file of things that I handed out that you'll see 1724 Thames goes through from Thames Street to Lancaster, and then 808 South Ann Street comes in the middle perpendicularly.
I do remember that when we addressed this previously.
Yes.
I was thoroughly confused, but I think I understand it.
Okay, well, hopefully I can unconfuse you at this point. The two properties were used together by the Preservation Society, but evidently were never consolidated. So they have split zoning. The Thames Street property is zoned commercial, it's C1, and the Ann Street property is zoned residential, it's R8. And so because the Ann Street property is located in the R8 zoning district, we had to go to the zoning board for approval to include a portion of that property as part of the restaurant that's primarily located on Thames Street. So what you'll see in the file is a copy of the floor plan of the restaurant, which is the same floor plan that we shared with the board when we were here before, that shows that the majority of the restaurant is located in the Thames Street portion, except for the dining room. And there's a 26-seat dining room, which is located in the rear of 808 South Ann Street. And the front part of 808 South Ann Street, where it faces the street, is going to be used as offices for the Waterfront Partnership. But behind the office space, there's a portion of the restaurant. And so the purpose of this hearing today is to authorize the expansion of the licensed premises to include that dining room so that we can serve alcoholic beverages in the dining room of the restaurant. So the zoning board approved the use of that property for the restaurant. A copy of the zoning board's resolution is included in the file. They approved it subject to a couple of conditions, which we are happy to comply with, that there not be any retail sales of alcoholic beverages, packaged goods from the Ann Street portion, that there not be any live entertainment or dancing in the Ann Street portion, that the two properties must be consolidated, and that any exterior changes be approved by CHAP, the Historic Commission. And we are certainly going to comply with all of those conditions. We have filed a consolidation application. I don't think it's been approved yet, but it's pending. The two lots will be consolidated. We're not going to offer any retail sales of alcoholic beverages from the Ann Street side or have any live entertainment on the Ann Street side. It's just, as I said, our 26-seat dining room located in that portion of the property. The other thing I want to just draw attention to as part of this, in our original application, we had not applied for any outdoor seating in connection with the restaurant. The Thames Street sidewalk is too narrow to have outdoor seating, and we have never been planning to have outdoor seating on the Ann Street side. We are now exploring, now that DOT has created this program to allow the expansion of those, I think they're called parklets, that they were created during the pandemic to allow dining areas, outdoor dining areas in the parking lane along Thames Street. A number of the restaurants on Thames Street have those dining areas. We would like the opportunity to apply to DOT for that approval for this restaurant. So you will see that the application included a request for outdoor seating. That would be in that parking lane area if it's approved by DOT. I'm happy to answer any questions the board may have. Nothing has changed about the application relative to the restaurant that the board previously approved. Mr. Sale is our individual licensee. He has 10 years of experience in food and dining operations working at El Buffalo in Canton. You'll see in the file there's a number of letters of support from Fells Point Main Street, the Fells Point Residents Association, a number of individual residents. There's also a letter from the Canton Community Association attesting to the good character of the applicants as operators based on their experience at El Buffalo and Canton. So we're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
I believe I was told that someone appealed your zoning ruling.
Yes, there's a neighbor on Ann Street who filed an appeal in the circuit court of the zoning board's decision. He's not here today. I kind of half expected him to be at this hearing, but
does that slow you down at all?
It doesn't. The filing of the appeal doesn't stay the zoning approval, so we're moving forward. We're confident that the board's decision will be upheld. As you can see, a copy is in the file. It's a very thorough decision, and it clearly addresses all of the issues.
Okay. And how's the cacio e pepe?
We're going to have some great pasta on there.
It's one of my favorites. Commissioners have any questions?
It's hard to follow with that question with a question, but thank you. No, I don't have any questions.
Yeah. Out of curiosity, on Ann Street, you had one person opposed it. How many houses or residents on Ann Street?
Only a handful, because there's another restaurant, The Point, that's at the intersection of Thames and Ann, and then the, what is it, the Wharf Rat is across the street on the other side of Ann Street. So there are other restaurants on that corridor. There's probably, I don't know, maybe 8 or 10 houses along that block, but there aren't a lot of residents over there.
And when will it be open?
Hopefully very soon.
Okay. All right.
So we're just for clarification purposes, Mr. Blendy, this is just, I mean, we've already transferred the,
No, Commissioner, I think the choice from council was to amend the application that you had previously approved. So you have vetted most of this already, but I think for the record, for legal purposes, you probably want to reapprove everything under 4210.
Okay,
If
thank
that's your wish, of course. I'm not telling you what to do or not do.
All right, thank you. Okay, on the basis then of the materials contained in the application, the proffer from council, any testimony received, as well as the exhibits which have been provided this morning, I vote to approve the amended application to transfer ownership and location of this Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license from a secured creditor presently located at 807 South Broadway to 1724 Thames Street, requesting also allowing live entertainment, outdoor table service, delivery of alcoholic beverages, and that will include a portion of 808 South Ann Street.
based upon the application, the proffer, the exhibits received, I too would approve this amended application to transfer ownership and location of this Class BD7 beer, wine, and liquor license from a secured creditor presently located at 807 South Broadway to 1724 Thames Street, with live entertainment, outdoor table service, and delivery of alcoholic beverages, and this is to include a portion of 808 South Ann Street.
Yes, based on testimony and materials provided today, also with the letters of support, I also vote to approve the amended application to transfer ownership and location of a Class BD7 BWL license from a secured creditor presently located at 807 South Broadway to 1724 Thames Street, and also requesting live entertainment, outdoor table service, and delivery of alcoholic beverages, and also to include a portion of 808 South Ann Street.
Ms. Russell?
Medical exhibits for the record. Board Exhibit 1, Business Plan. Board Exhibit 2, Love Support from Falls Point, Main Street.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Hecker. Good luck to you, Mr. Sell.
Thank you.
Good luck.
That concludes this matter before the board. Council has received follow-up instructions from this agency on how to legally complete the transfer that the board preliminarily approved today, which by law must occur within 180 days of today's hearing. There are no further matters I note on the docket before the board today, Mr. Chairman.
So that concludes our docket. We'll adjourn until December 1. Is that
Yes,
correct?
sir, Mr. Chairman. The Board of Liquor License Commissioners for Baltimore City shall stand in recess until Thursday, December 1st, 2022 at 10:30 a.m. here at Room 215 in City Hall.
All right. Thank you to everybody. Thank you to all of our commissioners and staff and everybody and those who were here today. And happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you.